depression. What's depression to you? Can you relate to depression? Have you ever been depressed in your life? Majority will say yes, but few will admit that in public. So depression, it's a lack of interest. It's a lack of interest of anything, any activity. A moment whereby you want to feel alone, you want to be on your own. You usually get irritated by what someone says to you. Any little thing that someone says ignorantly, unwillingly, you are so emotionally attached to it that it affects your whole mood. Affects your whole mood. Okay, thank you so much. So it affects your whole mood. When you look at it, when researchers of therapists will talk about this, they will explain them based on what they have studied. And then academically, they connect cognitive behavior in terms of how to deal with it, with therapists, psychologists. But in the layman terms, in how we have to relate with them as humans, we know attachment, acceptance that at this moment you need help, at this moment something is needed to be done. So in terms of depression, you don't feel, or you feel actually, but the feelings are just temporal feelings, but yet you dwell on them for a long time. Let me explain myself again. When you are depressed, okay? Oh, sorry. So when you are depressed, okay, it's a feeling. Let me just make this. So when you're depressed, okay, it's a feeling, but that feeling is temporal, but yet you dwell so much on it that it becomes permanent. And when it starts very mild. It's very mild. It gradually grows. It becomes now a severe issue. In fact, let me just say that's how habits grow. You start with step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. Okay, so if you're depressed, if you're emotionally unstable, it didn't just come just one day. No, it came gradually. It was a gradual step. It was very mild. From being mild, it became severe. It became like a hobby, like a habit, and after it becomes now temporal for you, or permanent for you. Let me say, you use the word permanent for you. It might sound harsh, but that's the word, because you made it look temporal to make it permanent for you. So in that state of depression, I don't want to go more academically. I just want to bring it out in layman terms. So I'm going to discuss them interchangeably. I can bring a topic, I can bring a term, then we discuss about it, then we try to relate with it. So my main purpose of this is to bring out my own opinion about this, is to share my own idea with you. We all have different identities, different purpose, different passion that we can easily relate ourselves with. But when we limit our minds and our objectives, then we can't grow as a person. We can't grow as a person. You say change is the only constant thing in life. Yeah, very true. So let's move on. So when you are depressed, when you are in that state, what happens to you? Nothing seems right to you. Nothing actually seems right to you. Everything is bad. Everything has a reason why it happened. Even things which have been unnaturally done, you start blaming yourself. You start saying to yourself, oh, I'm the victim, or I'm responsible for this action. Let me give an example. You're watching a TV, okay, and immediately it just turns off. And if you're depressed, you're someone so emotionally attached to what you think at that moment, you start blaming yourself that it's my fault that the TV got bad, or rather you start blaming the person next to you. Let me say, for example, if the person next to you is younger than you, you really have the urge to blame the person because the person is younger than you. You start saying that it's your fault. If you had put on the TV, if you had not watched the TV for this long hour, you start blaming the next person, forgetting that it's a property. Forgetting that it's a property. So things do happen. And you can't change them. You have to accept them and move ahead. But yet you keep blaming the person next to you. So that's an aspect whereby you are being depressed. You don't actually accept the fact that things do happen naturally. It's a property, so it has to get bad. It's an item. You're gonna want out someday. Either you repair it or you buy a new one. That's always needed to be done. So our next step we'll talk about depression is that is a temporal feeling. It's something very temporal, but we dwell on it for it to be permanent in our lives. Why do I say it's temporal? At that moment, nothing seems right to you. At that moment, you want to be on your own. You want to detach yourself from the environment. At that moment, that's at that moment. Because you can't really stay for long in a particular environment for quite a very long time. You want to connect. Either you use your phone to follow up with news updates or connect with friends. Either you want to call someone, either you want to take fresh air, either you want to do something. But when you're at that state, you just want to be on your own. So it's temporal. You really make it a permanent whereby you dwell on it for so long. So long. So during that state, what's needed to be done? What's needed to be done? You have to weigh your thinking. Is it worth the time? Is it worth the detachment from people? Let me ask you again. Is it worth the time? Is it worth the detachment from people? See, as we grow older, right? As we grow older, we create relationships. Even the environment feels our presence. Even the environment knows that you belong here. And when you're at that state and you detach yourself from the people and the environment, don't you think the people are gonna get affected by it? Don't you think the environment per se is gonna get affected by it? These are things we should always ask ourselves constantly. Is my environment giving me the positive energy that I need? The relationship I have with people, is it providing me making me a better person, or it's bringing me down? And during that time, when you're in your space and you're in that mood, okay, you don't notice that time passes by. You don't notice that. It's after when you realize, you go back to your normal state. That's when you realize that you've spent like either 2 days, 3 days, or 4 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour in your thoughts. Things you think, not that are actually happening, things you just think, and you spend a lot of time. And maybe during that period, there was an opportunity for you, but because you were disconnected with the world and yourself, you lost that opportunity. Thanks to all those who are joining in. If you're learning something, send a thumbs up, and if you want to join a discussion, write in the comment section and I will add you. So let's ride on. That was a time factor in terms of your detachment, how you detach from people. So another thing we talk about is depression. Depression is a state of mind. It's a state of mind as well. It's a health issue. Okay, let's talk about the state of mind. Let's talk about the state of mind. If you're an individual who is never grateful for the opportunities you have every single day, then you always find a problem in everything. So we spoke about here, it's a state of mind and it's a health issue. So now we are on the what? The health issue. So now what? On the health issue. Sorry, on the state of mind. So if you're someone who is not always grateful for what the environment has given you, what your family, your friends have given you, you always find something or find a reason to be angry about. Let me say, for example, as an individual, okay, you are growing up and people will never understand what you are going through, the difficulties you face every single day, how you survive, what makes you happy. There are things, no matter how you explain to someone, the person is never going to understand. No matter how you picture them, you say, it's supposed to be like this, it's supposed to be like that. When the person tries to give back the knowledge what you're giving to him or her, he never gets that. So what do you need to do? Do you need to keep explaining yourself to the person? Or rather, be aware that every individual are different. Every individual have different personalities and different purpose. So because your friend doesn't understand what you're trying to explain to him, will you want to blame him? Will you want to picture yourself that he must understand and start insulting because he doesn't understand you? But rather, if you look at it from a different angle, you realize that, oh God, you realize that, okay, oh, he's an individual. One, other is his cultural identity. We are talking about cultural identity on our platform here. If you haven't, make sure to follow up about our cultural identity and our personal identities. So let's write down. So maybe it's his cultural identity, where he's coming from. Second, maybe it's his personal identity. Thirdly, maybe he doesn't care about what you're saying. That you're embracing change, you're embracing development, you are now being flexible as a human. Okay, so the next thing we'll talk about is depression. Depression will limit your opportunities. Depression will always limit your opportunities. How is it going to limit your opportunities? You feel that you are not good enough. You feel you don't need to be appreciated. You feel that it's always a problem for people to always say you are good in this. And if someone is very sensitive enough, if you're in a job interview, group of persons, the person will just say, he or she lacks the confidence about him or herself. Maybe the person had a contract with you, had millions of contract, and he needed someone to do that. But because you saw the potentials in you, at the same time, your lack of confidence, you're gonna give to someone else. Even the person who doesn't know what he's saying, but with the confidence he has, you're gonna get the opportunity. So with depression, how do you intend developing yourself as an individual? but you will never get those opportunities because you lack confidence about yourself. Your insecurities are too much for an individual. Let me tell you a secret, okay? No, it's no longer a secret, because if I'm saying it and I know it's no longer a secret, but it is a secret. Every individual is fighting a battle. Every individual is fighting a battle. So don't think your problems are too much. Or why have you ever reflected that when someone tells you it's a problem, let me say for example you're friends with someone and you guys meet up, and what he does is, or what she does is, she starts telling you her problems. She starts telling you her problems, and when she's telling you your problems, you're not really engaged in what she's saying because you're thinking about your own, and you are reflecting and saying, my own problem is better. My own problem, I think I can solve my problem. Her own problem, I don't think she can handle it. Why is it that? Because you guys are two different individuals with two different battles, with different strategies to attain them, but yet you want to impose that person to solve your problems immediately, to be there with you immediately, and if that person is not there, you get angry with the person. That's what comes now with our relationships. How do we do our relationships? So that will be a different topic. That will be something we'll talk about that later in our concluding our talk for today. Okay, so every individual have different battles. Every individual is facing something. One, they don't feel confident enough, or you don't really serve as someone very reliable for them to express what they are going through. Two, they have taken upon themselves to work on it because they have accepted that such things will happen, and it depends on the individual to find solutions to those problems. Thirdly, another issue can be that maybe the environment where you find yourself in is the problem, but yet you think it's you the problem. Okay, so these are different areas we talk about depression. How can we go about depression? So how can we deal with that? How can we deal with that? So today's session, I'm not gonna stay too long. Just want to talk about personal ideas, but by the ending of March, I'm gonna upload a video on my YouTube channel. I put in Gongang Official on my YouTube channel. We'll talk about academically what's needed to be done and what are the things we can work on as individuals. So when you're depressed, what is needed to be done? What's needed to be done? Firstly, have your self-confidence. Or firstly, have a good mindset. Have a good mindset. How can you have a good mindset? Gratitude should be as your affirmation every single day. Every single day. Let me ask you a question. When you wake up in the morning, do you pray? When you wake up in the morning, do you look left to your spouse and say, thank you for loving me? Look at your kids and say, thank you so much for giving me smiles. Did you show gratitude to them? Do you express that to them? The more you do that, it becomes part of you. Even when you're in pain, even when the moments are difficult, you still do your best to express yourself. You do your best to say, no, there are beautiful things ahead. The most essential things of life should be, are you feeding? Do you have food to eat? Do you have clothes to wear? Do you have a place to be in? Do you have where you can live? These are things we should always ask ourselves, to always be grateful for what you are doing. Let me say, like this week, last week, okay, I complained about something, and I watched a video on Facebook Someone complained that he doesn't have where to sleep, what to eat, and many other things. And I said to myself, oh, I'm complaining about this situation. I have to be grateful because look at this person next to me. The person is fighting the battle. What I already have, I have to be grateful, and hopefully that things will get better if I am consistent in what I do, if I believe, if I put faith in what I do, and hope that tomorrow will be an opportunity to make greater things and have better opportunities. So that's how we build our mind. Second aspect is learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. We are growing, and let me say, kids will not have an opinion when they are growing, where they are growing, their environment. But when they arrive at a particular level, they start deciding, are they willing to be in that situation, or they want to change that situation. As an adult, there are a lot of difficult things we face every single day due to our circumstances. We want to dwell, or we want to erase that temporal feeling by involving ourselves in stuffs or in activities that is not going to bring out the best in us, but destroy us gradually. Destroy us gradually. So, talking about this, bringing out my own ideas concerning this no, is for you to know that, is for you to realize that everything doesn't need to be accepted by you. Everything doesn't need to be accepted by you. You need to have the willpower to say no to stuffs, to say no to things. One, you are building a better mind and knowing how to adapt to situations. Also, the no and the yes have consequences. Consequences doesn't come immediately. It goes gradually. At the beginning of it, when you're involved in something that is unhealthy, you feel so comfortable at the beginning, but you're not seeing the consequences. Consequences are long-term effects. So don't say that, just that doesn't mean the consequence will be the next day. It might be the next day, but it took a while before it gave me consequence. And when you involve yourself in such activities, you think that they have solved your problem, but rather it becomes a gradual habit to you, and now it becomes permanent. But all the same, change is the only constant thing in life. And if you believe, and if you know, if you want a better life, then you can change that situation where you face yourself right now. So let's go again to the consequences. So as individuals, always weigh your consequences. How is it going to benefit me? Do you take time to discuss with yourself? Do you try to picture yourself out of your body? Do you try to bring out a situation whereby you want to grow, you want to develop yourself in the nearest future? As I always say, always have goals, always have ambition, because you are seeing yourself in the future even when you're not yet in the future. Okay? You are seeing yourself in the future even when you're not yet in the future. So always have the willpower to say no. It's better to stand alone than to stand with the crowd. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna work on it alone. When something is good, it's for everybody, and when something is bad, you stand alone. That's a quote given by my mom. I appreciate you for that, mom. So when something is bad, you stand alone. When something is good, it's for everybody. It's for everybody. Hope you are enjoying this session. Feel free to ask questions and we're gonna write on from there. So Ivan, so you want to join? Alright, when I'm done then I'll join you. Then I'll add your story. So let's write on. The third area is forgiveness. Learn how to forgive. Learn how to forgive yourself first before you can forgive the next person. Learn how to forgive yourself first before you can forgive the next person. When I say forgive yourself first, how? Stop blaming yourself. Things do happen naturally. Things, you see, life is difficult, but at the same time easy. It becomes difficult when you don't accept yourself, when you don't forgive yourself when you make mistakes, and it becomes easy when you are grateful and when you accept that things are supposed to happen as a human being. Let me ask you another question. Have you ever met someone and he or she says, my life has been so perfect, my life has been an interesting journey, my life has had no pain, everything has been breeze and grand? That means the person actually hasn't met life, you see. That means the person hasn't really connected with life, because when you start connecting with life, when you start understanding how life goes on, then you know it's not easy. You know that things do have to happen naturally for you to grow. So that's forgiveness. Don't blame yourself at all times when situations don't work the way you want them to be. It's teaching you something. It's teaching you a level whereby you have to accept and grow from that situation. Also, if you're in that situation with someone and the person, let me say now, we're talking about a relationship like friends or spouse or partner or any other relationship you have with individuals or people, and if someone constantly lets you know, if someone constantly hurts you on the same thing every single day and keeps saying sorry, means the person hasn't learned the lesson, or the person is not willing to change. That's now you. Let's take it. That's the person, right? That's someone you are talking with. Let me say you're in a relationship with that person, spouse or friend or anything. You keep complaining the person about his behavior, his or her behavior, and the person seems not to change. What do you think is the best therapy for that person? Are you going to start blaming yourself because the person hasn't changed? Or rather, you let the person be and let the consequences go back on him? That's relationship. Let's come out to yourself. If you complain about something every single day, society gives you opportunity to change, but you don't change. Are you going to blame the society, or are you going to blame yourself? The environment again doesn't know yes or no. The environment, everything is okay. The good, the bad. It's humans that make it look good and look bad. Let's look at it also politically, in a state form, in a nation form. These laws which are being created, which are being implemented by politicians, by parliamentarians, by senators, it's just to make humans to be on the right track, okay? But the society will keep being the society. It's never going to change. So it's always going to be the same society. It's never going to change. But what I want to say is, you as an individual, it's your responsibility to make things happen by first forgiving yourself that you can't be perfect at all times. Things cannot always be perfect at all times. So you have to grow from your challenges, grow from your failures, and become better individuals. So that's third factor. And the fourth factor is communication. Communication. How do you communicate with your environment? How do you communicate with individuals? How do you communicate with people in your particular community? How do you communicate with them? There are different ways we can communicate. Someone who is dumb, who is deaf, still communicates with actions. Someone who doesn't see can still communicate with touch. So with you, there you have your mouth, you're beautiful, you're handsome. How do you communicate with someone? How do you do your possible best to express what you feel within you? But if you dwell so much on your inner ability to communicate with yourself, no one will be able to accept or understand or respect you based on what you say. Based on what you say, it's been known that action speaks louder than words. But let's also remember that these words per se are identities of who we are. So if you're an outspoken person, do you just sit in your room and do your videos, personal videos, and keep to yourself? Or rather, you challenge yourself to communicate with the public? There are millions of people in this world. How many people are in this world? Millions of people, yet you still want to keep yourself in that particular space because you know I'm an individual whereby people don't understand me. People seem not to get the things right at all times. Please explore the world. That's why we have social media. That's why we have different platforms we can express ourselves. So communication. How do you communicate with people? Can individuals relate to you? Can individuals try as much as possible to be happy within your environment, within your space? These are things you should take into consideration with our communication. Express yourself, make the mistakes. As I earlier said, make the mistakes and come back strong. Come back very strong as before. It's better to be a fool for 1 minute than to be a fool forever. Okay? It's better again to be a fool for 1 minute than to be a fool forever. Always think about that. So if you make a mistake, that's okay. If they laugh at you, it's their inability to accept that you are human, because we always make mistakes. So it's not your fault. Let them dwell on their own thoughts. Another thing I can tell you is learn how to ignore. Learn how to weigh things you should dwell on. On this our platform, we have spoken about conscious mind and subconscious mind several times. So if you haven't, try as much as possible to follow us on our platform, especially on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Okay, so to understand these things. So in terms of ignorance, let's first know that when you see this particular issue, that it goes now to your conscious mind. If because the conscious mind is a very sensitive mind, a very intelligent mind. So if you start saying, I don't want to dwell on it, and you just swap and go, it doesn't go to your subconscious mind. So it doesn't go to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a lazy mind. Anything you give the subconscious mind, it accepts. It just eats everything. You just take and just eat. So it doesn't care whether it's bad or good. He just does what he feels like doing, what he gives him. So if at that moment you address that issue, first at your conscious mind, your subconscious mind doesn't care, so it just goes away. Let's go to another scenario. So if that thing, you not dwell on it for quite a long time, it goes now to your conscious mind, sorry, your subconscious mind. So it starts thinking, it starts developing, it starts imagining stuff, it starts picturing ideas, a lot of things start coming and start coming on. And you know what, you're then creating a space for that environment, for that thing that where you dwell, which was bad, was not relevant to you. As I explained, consequence is a long term. It's a long thing. Don't think it's gonna be immediately. Well, always think it's immediate because when it started, we didn't take it serious. We felt so happy, so excited about it, but it kept digging a hole. 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 What are the consequences? Say consequences. So we'll now talk about the positive part of it. The positive part of it. So if you saw something which was gonna uplift your mind and you start dwelling on it, you're like, oh, I like it. Oh, it's interesting too. It goes now to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind dwells on it. It's like creating an image, creating an idea, a goal, and so many other things. And the result of it, you're so excited over it because you dwell on it, because you were so happy about that. Sorry. So you were so happy about it, and it has developed, and your environment, your relationship with individuals feel that change in you. Feel that change in you. Feel that change in you. So that's what about talking about the conscious and the subconscious mind. So learn how to ignore. Learn how, that's a fit issue, right? Fit issue. Learn how to ignore. Learn how to ignore. So that's the sit one is gratitude. Gratitude. Learn how to appreciate stuff. Learn how to say thank you to people. Learn how to express your thanks to people. Learn how to be appreciative of you existing. Of you existing. Of you. That's something very important. Even if you don't have what you are praying for every day, but as long as you are alive, it's a gift. It's a gift. Can you tell the dead man to rise up to help you? He's dead and he's dead. She's dead and she's dead. But you being alive is an opportunity for you to make things happen, to make things change, to make things change. So always be grateful. Always be grateful for the things you have, the things you haven't, and the things you still hope for. Because being alive is hope. It's hope. It's hope. You just get in the morning and say, I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've got today. I'm grateful that tomorrow is gonna be a better day. People sleep and don't wake up. People go on a journey and never come back. People eat, but after a few minutes they die. People laugh immediately, the next minute they're in the hospital. People again have no one to play with, have no friend or no one to discuss with, but you have someone. That's something you should be grateful for. In fact, find little things, find joy in the little things which involve yourself in. Personally, I am grateful, first, being alive. Second, having a platform like this. Thirdly, having people with me. Fourthly, being human. Being human being is an opportunity. Those are things you just find areas where you should be grateful about. Areas where you have to keep yourself moving every single day. So that's something about that. That's something about depression, how to go about it. I don't want to bring stuff on academic, whereby we'll talk about the health issue, the bipolar, the clinical behavior, the therapies, and everything. But I want you to understand them based on a human perspective, based on as an individual, as you, as a person of your own, that someone can never take away from. That someone can never take away from. That's what you should dwell on. And let me give you a little bit of conclusion before we go. Because I'm going to add Ivan. So Ivan, are you ready? I could join you in to give you an opinion about this. Okay. So if you're ready, please just send me a text and say yes, and I'll add you in. So most times there are a lot of suicide. People commit a lot of suicide nowadays. First is that's my own opinion. First is the environment, where they involve themselves in, where they want to belong, where they haven't accepted their humanities, their human form as failures. Another thing is about the consequences. When they started this issue, when they started their involvement in particular activity which was unhealthy, they felt so excited, they felt so happy and so relieved, and they did not think about the consequences. And this affected them, and they can not deal with them. They can't deal with them. So, and they feel that it's their fault. It's me, and it's I have to take responsibility for all my actions, for all the things I involve myself in. The world is very large. How many continents nowadays? If you're in the continent A and you're tired of everything, move to continent B. Change your environment. It's very important. Your environment can involve your friends. Your environment can involve. Your environment can talk about your workspace. Why should you put yourself in a particular box? Why should you limit your ideas, your mind, your talent into a particular box where you can really explore the other environment? Travel, move to different area, talk to people, express yourself, meet therapists, and talk about this. The depression and everything is temporal, but you make them permanent when you dwell on them for quite a very long time. Another thing is it's a health issue. Another health issue. Go and see your doctor. Go and see your doctor. The world is so big that's why those so big that there are always problems, and people keep putting to bed to new human beings. And why she gets fed that nobody loves you, the environment doesn't accept you. How come? If you travel to different environment, you realize that they see a space that has not been developed. They see an environment where it has not been developed. Where it has not been developed. Okay? Go there, explore yourself. Maybe you have been in a situation whereby you behave in sector A. You behave as a you behave in a way, or you behave an extrovert. You behave as an extrovert, and the society knows you're an extrovert. Why don't you become an introvert? It's difficult, right? It is possible. It's possible. All depends on how you want to tackle it. So before we conclude on everything, so I'm gonna add Ivan. Add Ivan, and Ivan, please just give us a round up, just little about your opinion, and before I conclude, I can leave. Okay, Ivan, I'm gonna add you now. So feel free and ask questions, and if you have ideas and opinions, just let me know in the comment section, and we'll write from there. So I was in Ivan. Let's see, comment section. Okay. you see all those rejoined. You see all those rejoined. Ivan, I don't know what's happening. Keep adding you. Irene, are you good? And again. I don't know, trying to add you. Oh, I don't know what's happening. I'm trying to add you. I've sent you a request. What's happening? Okay. Let's see if I can join. Oh, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Do you know what? Our next live stream, so I'm gonna invite you and you give an opinion about it, or we record a video, of our discussion. Then we'll put it on my YouTube channel. Then we'll talk about that. Let me see again. Let's talk about that. Similar to join. Okay, so I mean, tried as much as possible, but it seems the connection won't allow us, or the technology won't allow us. But we're gonna try something else next time. Thank you so much for adding your opinion. Maybe you can write it down in the comment section. In the comment section, there we go. Yes, I've done so. I've added you. So in conclusion, in everything, in summary, depression is something temporal. Depression is something temporal that limits your abilities, that doesn't give you opportunities. We only make them permanent when we dwell on them for a very long time. And as individuals, your mind, your positive mind is very important every single day. It's very important every single day. First, learn how to say no. Everything should be accepted. If you say you like eating meat, then your friend doesn't like eating meat, let her be. It's not obligatory because she doesn't like it. She has a reason why she's going to eat meat. Either because of health issues. Don't force her. No, if you're not fond of alcohol, don't drink alcohol. There are different ways to enjoy life. There are different activities to involve yourself in to make you happy and feel contented. So say no. If you like going to group activities, If your friend doesn't want to go, don't force her to go, because she doesn't want to go. So it's that things that you should, as you as an individual, take them as normal. Don't impose your values on people. People have their personal values. Don't impose them. Secondly, don't blame yourself at all times. Be aware that things will happen as human beings. There are things that are going to happen naturally to make you grow. There are things that are going to happen because you want you to shift your way of thinking to a different direction. Thirdly, forgive yourself, forgive your friends, forgive your spouse, forgive your kids, forgive your boss, and move ahead. We keep dwelling the past that you don't enjoy the opportunities of now. They don't enjoy the opportunities of now. So forgive and move ahead. If they can come along with you, fine. If they can't come along with you, that's okay. That's thirdly, communication. How do you communicate with individuals? Do you just communicate deep within yourself, or how do you want to create a platform where and meet millions of people? Connect with people, connect with one another. It's very relevant, it's very important. Lastly, show gratitude. Be content with what you have and be grateful, be hopeful that things are gonna get better soon. Even if you can't get them right now, it's gonna get better. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, suicide is never an option for you to run away from your problems. Suicide will never help you as a means of staying away from your problems. Face them. If you can't face them for now, move to a different environment. Be normal. Accept those emotions and deal with them. Those emotions are temporary, but you only make them permanent when you start dwelling on them every single day. Value your relationship with people. Understand that they themselves are fighting their own battles. So try as much as possible to understand them, to be with them, to value them, to show appreciation to them. It's very relevant. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is the end of our live stream. Hope you've learned something from depression. Hope you gained something that you think to be a better person tomorrow, to meet individuals, to understand them, than to utter bad words to them. Another option is ignore and work on things that are priorities to you. Have a goal, have an ambition, have something that keeps you going. It's very important. Have something that keeps you going. Your passion, your purpose, no matter how small it may be, let it be the light at the end of your tunnel. It's very, very important. So it's me, Pauline Gonga. Do have a lovely weekend. Do have a lovely week ahead, and do have a lovely week ahead. Stay next.